Have you ever started a meeting or presentation only to feel disconnected and like you didn't belong? My name is Leonilda Renaldo, and I'm your host at the Be Fluent Show. Subscribe now. Don't miss it. You'll be sorry. And I want you to be fluent. I want you to be successful. See you soon. A bientôt. Welcome back. If you've ever walked out of a meeting thinking, I knew the answer to that, why didn't I just say it? Or I wanted to defend my point of view and it just disappeared. I lost my words. If this sounds familiar, stay with me because in this episode, you will learn why this happens and most importantly, how to fix it. Yes, friends. In today's episode, I'd like to share with you the story of a client I'm working with. She is brilliant. She asks the most powerful questions. She's absolutely capable. But when it comes to speaking up in a leadership meeting, her voice shrinks. She loses her words. She loses her composure. And you guessed it, she loses the power of asking those powerful questions that she's so good at. Now, I'll explain why it is that she's able to ask these powerful questions and why it is that she doesn't. And no, it has nothing to do with grammar, nothing to do with vocabulary lists, and everything to do with emotional patterns. Emotional patterns? What are you talking about? I'll make this one short and crystal clear for you. Emotions are energy in motion. Emotions have one job, and it is to give you information. Now, because emotions are situated in your body, and your body informs your brain will go into protection mode if it feels or senses that it is in danger. How does it know it's in danger? Because at some point, you told yourself that speaking up in a leadership meeting was dangerous because the stakes were high. When you're a junior in a position, you cannot ask too many questions because you could be perceived as too nosy. Many different stories that we tell ourselves that when your English is most important, then your intelligence, your performance vanishes. And it's all because of an emotion that hasn't been understood. Now, let's go back to my client. When she's in a safe environment, meaning with me, with her colleagues in Boardroom English, the group implementation program that we have, she speaks up powerfully. She asks inquisitive questions, probing questions, clarifying questions that make it easier and clearer, not only for herself, but for everyone else in the room. You see, she's gifted with the capability of reading the room, of understanding what's happening around her and in her, in a safe environment. Now, all she has to do is create that same safe environment within her so that when she has to ask a clarifying question, when she has to defend a point of view or challenge something, a regulation, she can do it assertively, clearly, and confidently. Wouldn't you like to do that? Yes, that's exactly what we do in Boardroom English. I want to give you some homework. When you have a high stakes conversation or meeting, I want you to track what you're feeling and where it is in your body, okay? So that's the first thing. Once you find out what you're feeling, let's say you are going to a team meeting and you know that your boss is going to ask you for your opinion because you're going to be in this meeting with people from Singapore, from Canada, from New York. This is a time where your heart could start beating very, very fast. All of a sudden, you're feeling a headache and you have lower back pain. You write this down. You can do this during the meeting. This will take you 3 seconds. Don't overthink it. Or you can do it afterwards. And you could even tell yourself, okay, before I enter this meeting, I'm going to track what I am feeling and where it is in my body. Chances are, after the meeting, when you go back to your notes, you know what each of those things mean. If your heart is beating really, really fast, and then you have a headache, you know what that means. I can't say that for you right now because for that, I'd need to see you and we'd need to have a conversation on that. Then step number 2, what went well? Start tracking what you are doing well. We are so good at noticing how we failed, how we made big mistakes, how someone made a funny face when we were trying to speak. Maybe we were unclear. So my invitation here is notice what went well. Now, if you're working with me, this is something you know that we do every single time. Every time you have a challenge, I ask you what went well. And sometimes it takes a long time before we find out what went well because you're so focused on what was not so good. When you engage in this activity, you are slowly coming away from the hold of perfectionism. And as we have said numerous times in this podcast, it's not about perfect English. It's about communication skills under pressure. And no amount of perfectionism is going to get you there. But if you have the emotional awareness of what's happening within you and around you, then you are one step closer to becoming that impactful and confident speaker you've been wanting to be. Let's get something very clear. It's not mindset alone that's going to give you those skills. You also need the wording. What are the kinds of words that you need? What is the type of body language that you need? What is the kind of context? In which context do you say these things? Of course, but start with the mind. Start with your mindset. Start with your heart set to pay more attention to what's going well and why, so that you can continue doing more of that and you can follow the trail of what's going well. And remember that emotions are there to give you information. The more you ignore this information, the more it's going to press and insist. So start those exercises. Let me know on social media. Send me a DM and let me know. Or when you rate this podcast, tell us how that exercise went. We'd love to hear from you. I'm cheering you on because I want you to succeed. I want you to be influent and affluent in the global workplace. Oof, what a conversation that was. That's it for today. But if something sparked an idea, gave you clarity, or simply made you feel less alone in this global workplace jungle, remember, that's why you're here. That's why we are here connecting with you. Now, don't just sit there and let the insight just stagnate. Apply it. Teach it to someone. And if you're ready to go deeper, book your strategy call with me today. Together, we'll turn these big ideas, these big strategies into action. Stop waiting, start speaking. And let's be bold. Let's be fluent together. I'm Leonilda Renaldo. It's been a pleasure. See you soon.